Hey everyone, this is Mukesh Otwani once again from learn-innovation.com. So in this video, we are going to talk about how you can send email with attachment. Okay, so in our previous videos, we have already discussed how to send email with SMTP library, right? And we have sent email that was a plain text email without an attachment, but this video is going to be with attachment. So in case if you haven't seen that video, I would highly recommend you to watch this video, because here we discussed everything like how to configure your server. So actually we are using Gmail here. So we are not setting everything from scratch. We are using that Gmail SMTP server. So we are going to use the same thing. It is just we will be sending with some attachment. Okay. So there can be so many use cases where you want to send email with attachment. Okay. So let me give you one simple use case. Let's say you got a web scraping project where you need to scrap some data. Then you want to put into Excel, and that Excel you want to send as an email. Okay. So it's like complete flow. Scrap the data, put into the Excel or CSV or maybe in some other format, and then you have to send this as an attachment to some person, okay, maybe to a team or maybe to a client or whatever it is. It's totally up to you. So as of now we are discussing about this part where we will be sending email with attachment. In the next video we'll see the complete use case. Okay, so it's going to be very easy, just 2-3 lines of code that we need to add extra, and you can send multiple emails with multiple attachment. Okay, so let's get started. So in the last lecture we already discussed, right, how to send email and how to send email with a custom template, right? But in the last video we haven't discussed about how to send attachment. It was just a plain text file or simple text. So this video is the continuous of this video, guys. So in case if you haven't watched this video, I would highly recommend you to watch this video where we discussed everything in detail. Now I'm going to expand this particular, or I will simply do some modification in the text email 2. Let me change it to 3 so that we can simply add few lines of code and we can send attachment easily. So I will keep this as it is, guys. So those who are completely new, let me quickly give you a recap. We are creating object of email message. We are just sending the subject, attaching the subject from and to. So I'm just sending to multiple recipients. So in case if you want to add only one, just add one. But if you want to add to many, just add a comma and you can just send to n number of people. Then I'm just reading an email template. I just want to send email with this format. So we created a small template that, hi team, please find attached report, thanks, and etc. So it is going to read that template and it is going to set as a content. And finally we are just sending, first of all we are creating a SMTP connection. This is Google SMTP, this is the port number, and finally we are logging to the server, and this is actually my Gmail account, guys. So in case if you want your Gmail account or some other account, you can do that. Finally send the message. Recently I have changed the password, so I will just make it new demo. This is the new password. In the last video I missed to delete this one, so let me delete this one as well. So let me simply run this first just to check everything is still working or not. So just right click and run this program, and you can see email sent. Let's do one thing, let's go back. This is the email which I have given as a recipient. So you can see we got the email training invitation, and this is the content. Yeah, everything is fine. We are also sending to my own ID, so I also got the email. Perfect. So rest everything will remain same. Only one thing you need to add is we need to add attachment, right? So what I will do, first of all, I will use the same context manager which I'm using here, with and this with also. So let's create one file which I want to send. So this is our package. Let me open this package. Okay. Inside this package, let me add one file which I want to send as an attachment. So let me create one Excel file. Let's say this Excel can be your report, it can be some scrap data, it can be anything. So I will just say this is my output.xls. okay, it's anyways xlsx, and here I will put some data. So let me just add some data here, and data I will just say my name, some data, doesn't matter, main thing is we need to send this as an attachment. So if I come back here, now I can just go ahead and do we have anything? Yeah, reload from the disk, and you can see we got output.xlsx file. Now first of all, just like what we did here, right? We need to open this. So I will just first of all open this, which is nothing but output.xlsx. Now I'm going to read this as a binary. Okay, so by default is a read mode, but I want to read as a binary, so I will say RB, and I will just give this as F. So I will continue using F everywhere. Now first of all we need to read the content, right? So anyways we stored in F, so I will say F dot read, so that will read the complete data. And in case we want to store into a variable, let's do one thing, let's store into a variable called file data, so that I can show you how this data looks like. If you don't want to store, that is also up to you. So I will just do a quick print and I will say file data in binary. Okay, just a second, file data in binary, and I will simply print this file data. It will not be in a readable format. Okay, once you get the binary data, second is you need to identify the file name. So as we know, file name is this, but we need still in a variable. So if you just say F dot, we already have seen read. Now let's also call the name property, which will give me the file name. Okay, so I will say file underscore name. And in case if you want to see this as well, let's print here, and I will say file name is, and I will simply give comma and file name. Perfect. Now the last thing, we already have this message object, right, which is msg. I will simply say msg dot, and you will see one method called add attachment. This is exactly what we need to use. So now let's add these parameters. Okay, so first of all we need to add what data we have, so which is file data. Okay, then you can also type or identify what kind of type it is. Okay, so now you can just use main type, and the main type is application. Okay, second is you need to also give the subtype. This is the main type, we also need to provide the subtype, so I will give subtype. Subtype is .xlsx, as we know. Okay, and finally you can also pass the file name. So file name is basically what we have taken, right? So this is a predefined key. I will just mention file name. That's all. So quick thing, add attachment file data that we are actually reading. Then we are giving main type is application, subtype is .xlsx, and finally the file name, which is nothing but our actual file that we want to send. And that's all. Rest everything will remain same. Then it will log into the server and it will send us an email. Let's do one thing. Let's run this program and then let's see. So let's run this, and you can see we got the file data, which is Excel data, but it is in binary, so it is printing in this way. Then this is the file name, which is output.xlsx, and finally it is sending the email. So let's go back and see, and you can see guys, this time this was the last email 6 minutes back. This is the current email which says hi team, find that as report, and if you open this report it should have the data, and which is this. Let's also check the second email, and this is, you can see this already have one attachment, and here we go, we have this output. It's very easy guys. Now there's also situation that right now I'm having only one file, right, which is output.xlsx. But what if I want to send 3 attachment, 4 attachment, 10 attachment, because it can have like say my project have 10 reports. I don't want to send one by one. I want to write a smart program which should automatically identify all the file type, and it should send all in one attachment, or all attachment in one email. Again, in that case, it's a very easy thing that we need to do. So I will do one thing, I will not change this. Okay, let me close this. Let me create a separate program. Let me make it as test email 4. And just to give you a good idea, let me create minimum 3 files, right? I will make this as output 1, and I will make this as output 2. And I want to send all the .xls file which is available in my project. So now one thing is clear, that in order to work with multiple files, I need to run a for loop, right? 1, 2, 3. If I have 3, it should run 3 times. If I have 10 files, it should run 10 times. So definitely we need a for loop. So first of all, we need to write a for loop which should identify all these .xlsx file, and based on the number of file it should run. Now the question comes, how do we know that, or how do we find number of, or I will say count of a specific type? Then just to rescue us, we also have a dedicated import called globe. Okay, so using globe you can do a matching and you can get the number of files or number of file of a specific type. So guys, let me show you this globe first, okay, so that you will have a clear idea. I will delete this file, so I will say demo globe. So let's do one thing, let's import the globe here first of all, and let me just write globe, okay, and again I will say globe, and you can see it is asking give me the directory name and give me the pattern. Okay, so if you don't give the directory, it will take the default our directory. Okay, let's make it globe only, not globe 0. What I'm doing, I'm giving a star which is wildcard, and I'm saying give me all the files which is ending with .xlsx. Okay, so you will notice one thing, it will return you a list of files. Or so let me just print this first of all. We just right click run. Can you see in our directory right now we have not given directory, so current working directory, search all the files which is ending with .xlsx, which is giving list of files. You can see this is a list, and the list value is this output 2, output 1 and output 0. Perfect. So now we are using the same concept here, that instead of giving this hard-coded name, every time I will take this file, I will add as an attachment. Second time I will take this file, I will add as an attachment, and the same thing I will do for this as well. So let's do one thing, let's write a for loop, and every time the moment we get the file, I will store into files variable. Okay, and I will say dot star dot xlsx colon. Now this particular, I just select all this, okay, and I will press tab because this indentation is mandatory in Python. Right now all are coming under for loop, and this all are coming within a context manager. Now earlier we were hard coding this, right? Now this time we don't have to hard code, because every time we will get a new file in files variable which is output 0, 1, 2. So let's remove this and simply add files. That's all. You don't need to do any other thing. Rest everything is taken care by this code. It will just read the content, file name, then while attaching we will just give this main type subtype file name, and that's all. This time I also don't need to do this, guys, because this was just for your information. Maybe what we can do, once it will attach at least one attachment, I will just add a print and I will say attachment added in message. Okay, so that we'll get to know which attachments are getting added. Here I can just add the files or the file name. Okay, so file name we will simply add here, so that we'll get to know. That's all. Now let me do one thing, let me change this, and I will say subject training annotation. Maybe I will say this is invoice. That's all. Rest everything is same. Right click, run. So here we go. First of all, 3 attachment has been added, which is 0, 1, 2. And once we get this email sent, let's go back here, and here you go. You can see 3 attachment has been added here. Similarly, when I open this email, it should also have 3 attachment back to back, which is this. That's all, guys. I hope you have enjoyed this. It's very straightforward code, but yes, you need to make sure that you watch my previous video where we discuss all of this. So kindly use your own SMTP or server if you have. In case if you don't have, go ahead with the Gmail, Yahoo, or any other SMTP server. So definitely I will be changing this password, so guys, do not try this password. And yeah, so that's all from my side. Just before we end this session, in case if you have any other type, right now I'm sending .xlsx, which is Excel file, but in case if you want to send images or some other type, you might have to change your main type and the subtype. So in this case, you can take help of another module which will automatically take the subtype, and you can simply pass the value at runtime. You don't need to hard code this. That is also in case if you have multiple different type of file that you want to send. Okay, so let me know in the comment section if you are looking any other video on email sending part. I will be adding the same. Okay, so guys, in case if you're new to this channel, then make sure you subscribe, and if you like the content, then do share with your colleagues, like this video, and I will see you in the next one. Have a nice day. Bye bye.